Yeah, hi. Can you come pick me up? Alright, thank you. Today is Doom Day, or March 15th, 2022. You see, today, Doom Guy was supposed to fight knee-deep in the dead, then fighting some more demons through the shores of hell, and finally, beating all the demons from hell in an inferno. Of course, I wanted to see this all happen in real life, so I came here. Turns out Doom is a work of fiction, so now I have to wait until they come pick me up, but luckily, I came prepared. Of course, I was open to the idea of this happening, so in anticipation, I brought portable Doom games. So while we're waiting for the ship to come pick me up, let's take a look at some of these.
The original Doom is one of the most influential games ever made. Released in 1993, it completely revolutionized first-person shooters. Now, it was nowhere near being the first first-person shooter. It was even released after Wolfenstein 3D, which you can tell heavily inspired Doom. But with fun gameplay, kick-ass music, and really good graphics for the time, it sold over 3.5 million units before the end of the decade. And then with the turn of the decade came the Game Boy Advance, which was pretty powerful for a handheld at the time. So in 2001, just mere months after its initial release, came Doom for Game Boy Advance. Who looked at this console when it was revealed and said, wow, can't wait to play Super Mario Bros. 2, Mario Kart, a good Castlevania, and Doom portably on this thing? This port was brought to us by none other than David A. Palmer Productions, the studio that brought us such classics as Gex Enter the Gecko for Game Boy Color and Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones for Game Boy Advance.
Ooh, does that mean A attacks? Oh my god! Why is it like this in every single one of their games? Do they think A stands for attack? Well, then what does B stand for? Jump doesn't start with B? Or maybe bounce? What the hell, David A. Palmer?
So this seems great, right? Doom on Game Boy Advance, just months after it was released. Doom, a game that was butchered on the Super Nintendo, Atari Jaguar, 3DO. Those consoles were big fat boxes with huge ass cartridges, and it's possible for David A. Palmer Productions to make a decent portable version with a small little guy with a small little cartridge? Well, surprisingly, David A. Palmer Productions, they did it. This is Doom through and through. Of course, there are plenty of smaller changes, they're all listed here, but come on, Doom for Game Boy Advance in 2001, this is really good. You have great gameplay with the first 3 episodes. You also have the music. Well, it sounds worse. Come on, this is the Game Boy Advance. It's known for having bad music quality. Come on, this is Doom for Game Boy Advance in 2001. Give it a pass. The controls are decent enough. There are a lot of options, and if you really want to, you can have B be the fire button, but in all seriousness, it isn't that big of a deal because the rest of the controls are pretty competent. You can move forward and backwards with the D-pad, and left and right looks left and right, and strafing is done with the shoulder buttons. It of course isn't ideal, but it works. It also looks really good too for a Game Boy Advance game. 2D games are of course the Game Boy Advance's bread and butter, but for a first-person shooter on the handheld, this is great. It looks decent enough and plays decent enough. Now there is no reason to revisit it and play this version besides novelty reasons, but again, it's incredibly commendable what they were able to do here. But for actual criticisms, well, due to the scaled down graphics, in the distance some enemies look like nothing more than some random pixels and it can be hard to discern them from the environment. Also, the music for some reason is shifted to the music that should be in the following level, so for example, episode 1 level 2 music plays during episode 1 level 1. It isn't a problem, but it's pretty weird. But overall, again, this is incredibly competent. It's something but a novelty these days, but for the time, this was a great way to play Doom portably. Doom 2 is also released on the Game Boy Advance, and I don't have it, so onto the PSP.
The PlayStation Portable, or the PSP for short, was Sony's first handheld portable console. After the PlayStation 2 became the highest selling console of all time, they decided to take a shot at the handheld portable market. And the PSP actually did pretty good, selling around 80 million units. But unfortunately, it came out around the same time as the DS.
It truly is a shame because the PSP is honestly pretty damn good. It used mini discs and its power was comparable to the PlayStation 2. The games on here are great, some really good console ports and high quality spin-offs. But the DS had Nintendogs, this thing was doomed. But regardless, the PSP was a thing. It was more so positioned to the more hardcore gamers. With Grand Theft Auto and God of War spin-offs, this thing's target audience were those who wanted genuine console quality games on the go. And with its bigger emphasis on higher quality console spin-offs, it surprises me that there are no official Doom games for PSP.
The only officially licensed Doom media for the PSP was the film released under the UMD video line, which is pretty weird considering the more hardcore nature of the PSP. Like, what is this? And this guy on the cover, he looks kind of familiar. Ah! Dwayne! What are you doing here?
Xbox.
I mean, I'd love to, but could I finish talking about the unofficial Doom port on PSP first?
Xbox.
Now, there is a way to play Doom on PSP, that's right, with custom firmware you can install and play a fan-made port of Doom for PSP. Now, I didn't have time to install it before I left, but it doesn't look like anything special, just Doom, but on PSP. But with Doom 3 released in 2004 and the PSP coming out not even a year later, why wasn't there at least a Doom spin-off on PSP? It's the perfect handheld for it, like, the Game Boy Advance got 2 official Doom releases while the PSP only got the Doom movie. That's really, really weird.
Really all the portable Doom games that I could find, so to fill the void, let's break the law.
Doom's legacy is brilliantly preserved on the Nintendo Switch. The main 6 releases are all on here, and of them I have the first 4. Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, and Doom 3. There really isn't much to say, they all look and run great. My one problem though is the lack of gyro aim in Doom 3. The first 3 have gyro aim, which is weird because aiming in this game is just looking left and right, while aiming in Doom 3 is all around. I prefer gyro aim for modern first-person shooters because it allows for efficient precision that Analog 6 just failed to provide. So of course the one with the trickiest aiming with thumbsticks is the hardest. But besides that, I love having these here, and they're great to have with you at all times.
Alright, Mr. Johnson, I'm done.
Xbox.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Do you know Activision was created by a demon?
Xbox.
Things are truly coming together.
Xbox.
They created the worst version of Edge of Time, so I'm in.
Xbox.
I have a steak knife.
Xbox. Xbox.
Tell me when you need me.
Welcome to our humble abode, Dwayne.
Xbox.
You can never stop us.
Get out of the way! This is for creating the worst version of Edge of Time! Sorry, I've been wanting to do that for the past 10 years. Well, that was definitely a trip. I mean, who knew I was gonna kill the leader of Noisevicka's race? Well, we have a long trip home, so I guess I might as well play a bit more of Doom on Game Boy Advance.
Activision worked with David A. Palmer Productions on this?
Well, I guess we know where Activision learned to make bad games.